in the industry. So this session will about introduction to the routine and spatial training. So routine and spatial training is in histopathology department. HMP staging and spatial strains play a critical role in tissue-based diagnosis and research. By coloring otherwise transparent tissues sections, and these sections allow highly trained pathologists and researchers to view under a microscope in tissue's morphology, structure, and to look for the presence and prevalence of particular cell types, structure, or even microorganisms such as bacteria. In the histopathology laboratory, the term routine staining refers to the hematoxylin and eosin. And that is used routinely with all the tissues and specimens to reveal the underlying tissues, structure, and conditions. The term spatial strains has long been used to refer to the large number of alternatively staining techniques that are used when the HND doesn't provide all the information the pathologist and researchers needs. Preparing tissues for the staining. Before tissues can be stained and viewed, it must be prepared so that a very thin section and only one cell thick can be cut and placed onto a microscope slide. This involves saving these tissues, then hardening and supporting it so that it can be cut the very thin section, typically 2 to 7 micrometers. And there are two main techniques used for this, referred to as the frozen sections and paraffin embedded sections. Frozen sections are used typically during surgery where the surgeon needs to know the excision margin when removing a tumor. They are quickly to produce but typically don't create the same sections for the quality of as the paraffin techniques, and thus this process for the frozen sections preparation is tissues quickly frozen to preserve and harden it. The next is the frozen tissue sections in cryoprecipitate, a sectioning microtomy in a freezing chamber and placed on a microscope slightly for the staining. Third is the section is mixed immediately before it begins to decay and is then stained. When paraffin sections are to be prepared, the specimen is firstly preserved with a fitted tube, and when the tissue structure is supported by the infiltrating the specimen and section, but provide better quality staining in most cases, and the resultant samples can be stored almost indefinitely. And the paraffin section proceeds is as follows. Firstly, fixation. Fixation preserving fixation is preserve the tissues. Typically, it is used formaldehyde-based solution. And the next is crossing. Crossing is a part of to isolate the particular area of tissues to be sectioned. Tissue processing uses a sequence of the regions to replace an aqueous water-based environment with a hydrophobic one, enabling tissues elements to be infiltrated with paraffin bags. The next section is embedding. Embedding to allow the specimen orientation and secure the specimen in a block of tracks for the section cutting and storage. The next phase is sectioning is done on a macrotomy that cuts a very fine sections which are floated out on a water bath, then picked up and placed on the microscope slides. Then the slides are dried in an oven and also hot plate to remove the moisture and help the tissues adhere to the slides. The tissues on the slide is now ready for the staining, and the first staining step is dewaxing, which used a solvent to remove the wax from the slide prior to the staining, and this is always done as a part of the staining process. When a stain is complete, this section is covered with a cover glass and makes the preparations permanently. So why used in HND staining is routine. The hematoxylin and eosin staining is used routinely in histopathology laboratories, as it provides the pathologist and also researchers a very detailed view of the tissue, and it achieves this by clearly staining cell structures including the cytoplasm, nucleus and organelles and extracellular components. This information is often sufficient to allow a disease diagnosis based on the organization and disorganizations of the cells, and also showing any abnormalities of the particular indicators in the actual cells, like nuclear changes typically seen in cancer. And even when advanced staining methods are used, the HND staining, hematoxylin and eosin staining is still form a critical part of the diagnostic picture, as it displays the underlying tissue's morphology, and which allow to correctly interrupt and advanced staining. So, in a clinical histology laboratory, all the specimens are initially stained with HND, and special stains advanced are only ordered if additional information is needed to provide a more detailed analysis, for example, to differentiate between two morphologically similar cancer types. Because of the volume of HND staining needed, most clinically laboratories use fully automated systems, and manually staining is now rare. The HND stains uses two dyes, firstly hematoxylin and second eosin. This combination is used as the dye stain different tissues elements. Hematoxylin reacts like a basic dye with a purplish blue color, and it is stain acidic or basophilic structure, including the cell nucleus, which contains DNA and nucleoprotein, and organelles that contain RNA such as ribosomes and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The next stain is eosin. Eosin is an acidic dye that is typically reddish and pink in color, and it has stain basic or acidophilic structures, which includes the cytoplasm, cell wall and extracellular fiber. Hematoxylin is extracted from the longwood tree and purified. It is then oxidized and combined with the mordant, typically aluminium, to allow it to bind to the cell structures of many hematoxylin preparation used in histology. Gill's hematoxylin and Harris hematoxylin, if the Mayer's hematoxylin, are the most popular. So, eosin is formed by a reaction between bromine and fluorescein. There are two eosin variants typically used in histology. Eosin Y, which is slightly yellowish, and eosin B, which is slightly bluish, and eosin Y is most popular. So, what are the special stains used in histopathology department? The term special stains traditionally refers to any staining other than HND. It covers a wide variety of methodology that may be used to visualize particular tissue structures, elements, and even microorganisms not identified by HND staining, but the other methods of other staining used immunochemistry or in situ hybridizations to target specific proteins and DNA RNA sequences. And these methods were sometimes also included as members of the special stains family, but however they are quite different in method and purpose and are now typically separated into a third category. It is also known as advanced stains. While there are literally hundreds of special stains of all the purposes of histochemistry, and only a few are used with an regularity in clinical histology, The variety of stains also means that spatial staining is not as automated and HND staining, while many larger laboratories do use automated instruments for the more commonly stains. They still have an area for the hand staining, and the complexity of the some stains also works against the uses of automation. Uh, the next phase is it is use positive control. Always use a control slide known to the contain the structure and substances we are trying to the demonstrate for. If the structure and substances we are screening for is not visible in a slide, so we assume it's not a present, and use accurate timing. Timing is always approximately. Inaccurate timing produce inconsistent results. So be aware of the shelf life of the reagents you are using. Some reagents or dye solutions deteriorate slowly, while others are very unstable, and some may be made up fresh and used immediately. So the other have to be left for some time to oxidize before they can be used at all. Storage reagents correctly. So the properly reagent storage require refrigeration because they are inclined to support the growth of the fungi or mold. Other are lightly sensitive and require storage in the dark. And follow the protocol exactly. Documentation any departure from the method you are before you are using. And also take particular care with washing steps. Standardize them as far as possible, as they are frequently because of variable results. And microscopy carefully. Use microscopic control at crucial stages such as differentiation steps. Be aware of the effect of the microscope setup on the appearance of uncovered slit wet sections, and it can be produced the appearance of false background staining. And special stains are processed to generally employ a duo dye and chemical that has an affinity for the particular tissue's component that is to be demonstrated, and allow the presence and absence of certain cell types and structure, and also microorganisms to be viewed microscopically. And hematoxylin and eosin stain is used routinely in histopathology laboratory, as it provides the pathologist and a very detailed view of the tissues, and it achieves this by clearly staining cell structure, including the cytoplasm, nucleus, and cell organelles and extracellular components. HND stains also serves as what is actually the most popular background stain in immunohistochemistry, and in most cases special stains are used when the pathological and researcher wants to differentiate to identify the compound observed in tissue sections previously stained with HND. So why do tissues have to be stained? Staining is used to highlight important features of the tissue, as well as to enhance the tissue's contrast. And hematoxylin, it is a basic dye that is commonly used in the process and stains the nuclei, giving it a bluish color, while eosin, another stain dye used in histology, stains the cell's nucleus, giving it a pinkish stain. Since bar bodies are present with a nuclear material, special stains for nucleus such as papinuclear stain, pap stain, olefin stain, hematoxylin eosin stain, and carbon fusion and also fluorescent staining are used to visualize them. So HND staining, it is a combination of two histological stains and Bacterial growth and retain the primary crystal violet stain that is first applied as a part of the staining process are classified as gram-positive bacteria, and the stain is retained because the cell wall of a gram-positive bacteria is not as permeable but the cell wall of a gram-negative bacteria.